I'm Jennifer from Adult Services. In a previous video, I showed you how to stitch together a basic little journal. Today, I'd like to show you how to take that knowledge and add it to another simple handmade book form to create a handy pocket-sized nature journal for quick sketches, pressing flowers or leaves, and making notes on your walks or hikes. I'll go over the materials that you'll need to make one for yourself, then show you step by step how to make the journal. In no time, you'll have your own little book to tuck into a pocket, stash into your purse, or just hang on to for your next adventure. Let's get started. So the materials that you're going to need to make this pocket nature journal are a sheet of cardstock, which is about 8.5 inches by 11 inches. If you like, or if you have some, you could use watercolor paper. This one is 9 inches by 12 inches. You just want something that's thicker than normal, something that you'll be able to sketch on if that's what you want to do. You'll want 3 sheets of copy paper that's 8.5 by 11 inches, cut into pieces 4 inches high by 5 3/4 inches wide. You will want scissors, glue, a ruler, an awl or beading awl or a large needle, some large plastic coated paper clips, needle and thread, a piece of cardstock for the cover. You want something that's going to be 4 inches high and about 2.5 times the width of your journal once it's folded up, and a rubber band. So first of all, we're going to start with making the basic book block. So you want to take your piece of cardstock or watercolor paper and fold it in half lengthwise. So taking the long side and folding that in half. Get a nice, good, solid crease there. And then open it up. And now we're going to fold it side to side here. Match up the edges really nice and neat. Get a good crease here in the middle. Open that up. Now, 2 more folds. This time we're going to fold from the end to the middle and then from the other end into the middle. So line that edge up with that center fold very neatly. Make your crease. Turn it around and do the same thing with this end. And open it up, and you're going to have 8 panels to work with. Now, to make this work, let me show you the finished one. You see it kind of unfolds this way because we've taken that piece of cardstock and cut into it so that we'll fold it, and we've got little pages in between. So to do that, we're going to cut up the middle to the halfway fold. And then we're going to cut over just 1 block. Oops. Just to the next fold. And then same thing going this way. So what you've done is cut a T into your cardstock. Now fold this in half again, and we're going to refold this going the other way. And refold the middle. So what you have is what we call an accordion book, and you see why. You just bounce it back and forth like an accordion. All right, so now when you open up, you close your book, this is going to be what it looks like. So when you open it up to the middle, you've got these two flaps that open up towards you. On one side, you can put a little envelope for stashing maybe some leaves that you want to keep, or seeds that you find look interesting, or just whatever grabs your attention when you're out taking a walk. I've taken a seed packet, trimmed it so that it's going to fit here on this page, and then glued the bottom shut. See, that's the perfect size. So what I'm going to do is glue the back of this and press it onto here. All right, so that fits in very nicely there. If you don't have a seed packet to use, you might find a little coin envelope, or you could just make your own sort of pocket to glue in here, whatever you want to do. On the other side where we've got this flap, I would like to put some pages in. So I've got my little pages already cut, and I'm going to fold them in half. Increase that fold. And just to open it up again. Now, you remember in the first video how we did a sewn book. Oh, look, that's just a little too big, isn't it? I'm going to have to trim some off the edges. It's a lot easier if you can use a paper cutter to cut your pages to the right size. See, when I cut it by hand, it doesn't get it done very evenly. But since this is a little book you're going to be taking out and about with you, it's probably going to get kind of messy. So perfection is not what you have to worry about. You'll want to make it as good as you can, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfect here. All right, that fits in there a little bit better. So, back to what we learned in the first video about sewing a book. I'm going to use the paper clips to clip this into place, right in that fold in the cardstock that we want. Now, since you've got a fold here, I would not try to clip that, or you might end up sewing this part to this part, and that's probably not a good idea. Let's use a little piece of cardboard underneath so that when we poke our holes, we're not going to go all the way through and damage the surface that we're working on. We want to find the middle. In this case, since it's 4 inches, we're going to go for a hole at 2 inches. And then a little bit under 1 inch, because we don't want to have your hole way out at the end. So let's say we'll do 3/4 of an inch here. And another 3/4 of an inch. You want 5 holes all together, evenly spaced. With just enough room at the end so that you're not having your final stitch come all the way to the end of the paper. So you see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very evenly spaced out. Now you want to cut the thread like we did in the first video. Let's figure about 3 times this fold. So there's 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more. And we'll go ahead and thread this. Remember from the first video, we are not tying a knot here. We'll tie the knot once we're done sewing the pages. So again, we just go down the middle. And you remember from last time, what we're doing is a sort of weaving down, up, down, up, down, up, so that we've got stitching here on top and on the bottom. I'll go through it again with you here. So we've gone down. We want to come up the next hole, down through the end hole, back up to finish that loop, and instead of going down through the center, we're going to jump over to the next to the last hole, come up through the end hole, finish that loop, go down the second one, and finally we'll come up the middle. Each time you're coming down and going back up, you want to make sure that the thread is snug. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you want it to be snug. So now we're going to tie a knot here in the middle. And you want to take that knot all the way down to the fold, so it's snug against the paper. And let's do that again, just to make sure it's extra secure. All the way down. And then trim your threads. And take the paper clips out. Okay, so going back to folding this up, we do the fold lengthwise, so we've got the little flaps here in the middle. You've got your section with the pocket, you've got your section with the pages, and then you can always lift these both up and you've got more room for drawing or for pressing flowers or leaves. Let's just bundle that up for a moment. And now, let's make a cover for it. So what you're going to do is match up the end of your cardstock with the front of your book. And we will want to add some glue. You don't have to go overboard with the glue, but you do want it out to the edges as much as you can. And then let's go ahead and add that cardstock, line it up, and smooth it into place. And then we just kind of wrap it around the book. And look, I've got a little too much. So what I'm going to do is just cut that last part off, because you only need a flap to overlap here, okay? And then we're going to put a rubber band around it, and we're good to go. That'll fit in your pocket. It'll be easy to throw into a purse or a backpack, and it's all tucked together so that whatever you put in it, you're going to keep it fairly secure. So that's combining a folded book form with the sewn book form to make something that should be really handy for your next walk or hike in the woods. Our final book is going to be coming up in about a week or so stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for joining us.